Hey, what's up, y'all? And thank you so much for tuning into Respectfully with Miss Pretty Young Thing. I'm your girl, PYT, and let's get into it. All right, y'all. So I did a quick video of me taking my wig off, releasing myself from this beast because it's time for us to redo our hair. I am already in Miami at the time that I'm doing this video, but at this time, it was the day before my flight to come home for the holidays. My brother's getting married. And of course, there's Christmas, there's New Year's, there's family, there's friends, there's a whole lot. All right. So I wanted to make this quick video because we have yet to talk about the latest episode of Joseline's Cabaret. And I wanted to make sure that we could thoroughly do so before we go ahead and continue on with, the rest of the week or whatever the case may be. So the last episode that we just had was episode 15, okay? And there's a lot to unpack, so let's go ahead and do so while y'all watch me scratch the mess out of my hair that was stuck in this wig. Remember, this was my birthday wig, and we went on vacation with it to Puerto Rico as well. So respectfully, I was glad to take this off. So while I go ahead and do so, I need y'all to do me a favor and please like, comment, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and of course, tell a friend to tell a friend by sharing this video with someone else, okay? We are at 890 subscribers at the time that I'm recording this video. Hopefully, we will be at 900 by the time I post it. And if we're not, please take all of your little accounts and subscribe, okay? So that being said, let's go ahead and get into Joseline's Cabaret, Texas, okay? So the last episode just took place, like I said before, and let's go ahead and do the breakdown. Okay, so the episode starts off exactly where we left off. So remember, the end of the last episode happened to be Neek going back and forth with Raven, and Raven was adamant about, Neek, you have to be more respecting of the OGs, which that honestly, she needs to kill that noise altogether. Let's talk about that first. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Raven and the OGs going down on Neek about how her attitude is towards the OGs. I feel like it's unnecessary. I feel like they're doing the most. I feel like there's no way for her to really respect them if she's not getting any respect back. It's one of those things where respect is earned and not given. You're not going to tell me I got to respect you when you're being disrespectful to me. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So we start off from that part of the episode or whatever. And remember, Neek got really upset, so upset that she slammed her chips on the ground, not realizing that her chips flew backwards and hit Danny in the face. So Danny ends up attacking Neek from the bike, okay? And at the same moment that is happening, Hennessy tries to jump in. I don't know what it is about Zeus shows and them trying to jump, but Hennessy was claiming in her confessionals that the only reason that she tried to jump in is because Raven is non-confrontational and was not trying to fight. Girl, don't sit here and say that. This is the same girl that was antagonizing you, saying that your poom poom stank, saying that you need to be out of the cabaret, that you don't deserve to be here. You fought her plenty of times before. So I felt like it was one of those situations where as soon as Danny began to attack, she saw that was the perfect opportunity to snatch her wig and do her big one. Then from there, Drea starts attacking her, not with her hands, but verbally, talking about how she keeps on directly antagonizing the girls and directly creating conflict, that she was challenging Joseline and that she needs to understand her place. That's when Raven chimed in and was just like, no, you need to respect my OGs. Your attitude is horrible. You're never going to get booked in this industry if you don't fix that. I got to pause it right there. I feel like it's so stupid when I hear circumstances like that, because it's one of those things where, like, you can't really say that. Sometimes work ethic goes farther than attitude when it comes to the industry, one. Two, you gonna really eat your words if showgirl Neek ends up being a showgirl in these streets or makes it into the cabaret. You can't really necessarily say that, because Joseline is the type of person to make something out of nothing. Joseline is the type of person to choose the one that they hate the most. Oceans, for example, could make it all the way to the end and win the $50,000. For the fact that y'all are all in the same boat, y'all all have equal opportunity to either make it or don't make it. I feel like it's extremely stupid for Raven to make that call, talking about something, you ain't never gonna get booked in the industry, and I ain't talking about no Tubi movies. Raven, where are you getting booked in the industry? Let me go check her Instagram real quick so I can see when's the last time she did a booking or posted something, some sort of a flyer, some sort of a something that had nothing, zero to do with Joseline's Cabaret. So it's like, you can't, man, I loved Raven before this episode, but this episode really, she got on my nerves. She got on my nerves because I feel like she's being too hard on her. I feel like all of the OG, I feel like ever since Big Titty Diamond went home, or wasn't chosen to go on, for the rest of the parts of the tour, Raven been cutting up. Raven been hanging around with these other OGs. Now she got this whole respect the OGs thing down her throat the same way they did. Now they got a battery in her back, okay? And even if they didn't put the battery in her back, they are charging it, okay, in the words of DTB. So it's still one of those things where it's just like, let me know in the comments how you feel about Raven putting in her 2 cents, talking down on showgirl Neek, because it's still one of those things where, like, you're telling me things like this, but you want me to show you respect. I'm never showing you respect if you're talking to me like that. And that's just me. So I can understand if Neek is looking at them crazy, like, yo, the only person that I need to respect is Joseline. The only people that I need to listen to is Joseline and Ricardo. I can get it from her perspective when we're watching it, live and full effect on our TV, with them blatantly disrespecting her, but then demanding this same respect. That don't make no sense. So after that, Danny proceeds to say that she is worse than Wet Wet. Now, Danny, you're digging a little too deep. You put too much dip on your chip. She is not no worse than Wet Wet. She definitely is not. One, she can dance. Two, her attitude cannot be that stank. I refuse to believe that. But I can't help but say that this is the first time that I've seen Raven since the last season that she was on, snap on anybody. Okay, like, it is honestly the last time I seen her snap on anybody. So I can't really vouch for, Neek all the way when it comes to this, because we don't know what's happening behind the scenes unless they say it, hopefully at the reunion, because in this scene, it's kind of sort of showing Neek being a victim in this circumstance of the OGs attacking her, which what seems to be for no reason. Now, what I will say is this. Raven did say that she feels like she is not a girl's girl, basically, is what she said. Because she was just like, even though you and I both have our differences and you be talking to me sideways, I still cheer you on. I still be clapping you up. I still give you your props. You don't give nobody their props. You don't be there for any other member of the team. You just don't be in your own world. You think you the ish, And honestly, I'm fine with Neek hyping herself up and being there for herself, but I can kind of understand from Raven's perspective, feeling like you think that you're so bomb diggity that you do not even take the time to, show that team effort, that team, whatever the hell you want to call it. But then at the same token, I kind of sort of have to gear back towards Neek's side when it comes to this, because it's still a competition. There's still $50,000 on the line. So if I feel like I am a step closer than all of y'all hoes on getting this $50,000, you can't be mad at me for that. Like, you really can't. So then from there, Raven proceeds to tell Neek that she feels like something in her spirit deep within is telling her that Neek isn't there for the right reasons, and that if things don't go her way, that she feels like she's going to be on the first blog site smoking to talk ish about Joseline as well as her cabaret. And Neek is just like, well, you can feel that way all you want to, but I'm not that type of girl. So regardless, however you feel is however you feel. And thank God for Envy Erica, because Erica is the only one with common sense out of this whole situation, out of this whole debacle, and was just like, look, y'all need to squash it. We got a show to put on. We got to put on for Joseline. We got bigger fish to fry. Y'all worried about the wrong fish. Let's just go. And that kind of sort of de-escalates the situation. When I tell y'all that was the longest bus ride of bus rides, okay, sprinter ride, or whatever you want to call it, because it was one of those things where it was just like, majority of it was unnecessary as hell. Like, for the chip bag to hit Danny in the face, I can understand why Danny would want to, like, hit her real quick, because it's just like, hey, watch where your chip's flying. But then at the same token, it was one of those things where she could have just cussed her out and left that at that, because as you can see, she wasn't trying to hit you. It just kind of sort of got directed in your direction. Your face was in the way of her chip bag. And then when it comes to Raven's situation, like I said before, we don't see everything that's going on behind the scenes to know that that's really how Neek be, or whatever the case may be, to even take Raven's side when it comes to this. Because like I said, after this episode, it kind of sort of put a bad taste in my mouth. Last episode, really, when it comes to Raven and her opinion when it comes to Neek. Because even, remember when she was adamant about the fact that Rose breath stank, or whatever the case may be, we haven't heard about that since. And it's one of those things where it was just like, well, what was the reason? Like, did you really do that for no reason? Are you really, being one of those OGs that runs and tells mommy? Because she wasted no time letting Joseline know, and did it in a upward, like, in front of everybody's setting, rather than pulling Rose to the side. And that's when I began looking at Raven sideways, because it's one of those things where it's just like, why? You want Neek to be a girl's girl. You want all of these, newbies to be a girl's girl, but you're not doing the same thing. It's really the pot calling the kettle black when it comes to that situation. And I never saw Raven as that type of person. But baby, she from Orlando, right? I guess it's them Orlando girls built a little different. I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this whole ordeal when it comes to Neek not talking to the OGs, quote unquote, correctly, and respecting authority, in Danny's words, although I don't see them as authority. Y'all are trying to compete for the same $50,000 that I am trying to compete with. You are not my authority. But let me know in the comments how you feel about that. Now, I don't know what part of Mexico this is that had the ladies in the middle of La Calle. It was literally smack dab in the middle of like what looked like a busy street. It seemed like it gave like the Times Square of Cancun, Mexico. But nevertheless, they started practicing. They're trying to get everything together, getting the show started, placements, and all that. So after that, Queen Envy does her confessional where she talks about how intricate the stage is and hopes that they do a good job on this Cancun performance. But respectfully, I was barely paying attention, because why the hell is no one talking about the fact that Queen Envy had her chain in this scene? Y'all, I told y'all 2 episodes ago that this had to be a scheme that producers set up, okay? So my first theory was that back when I was Team Hennessy over Rose, that Rose had took this chain and tried to make it look like, try to set Henny up, a scheme that Rose set up, or whatever the case may be. Then from there, by the time they kept breaking it down and Rose kept saying, I don't steal, I would never, I kind of sort of less started feeling like that and kind of sort of believing it, but still taking heed that this could be crocodile tears. I don't know this girl like that. But then after they had said that they had put the chain on the table or on the nightstand, whatever the hell it was, and then it kind of sort of wasn't a thing after that, and Rose said that it didn't directly fit into her chain so that she can hold on to it, and all of a sudden that was the last that she heard of it. In my head, I was like, hold on, y'all both can recall the last time that y'all saw the chain. Producers had to have picked up the chain. If they directly told Rose, oh, you might as well not put it on if it's not fitting on your clasp, and she put it down and left the circumstance, who else but a freaking storyline maker, aka an executive producer? So to me, it's one of those things where it had to have been one of them. So like, I'm less inclined to believe that any of them had actually stolen the chain to begin with, which is why they were easy to blame each other on it. But then at the same token, I highly doubt we're going to hear anything in regarding to this chain again. So now it's showtime. The ladies are getting ready. Joseline's getting ready. The ladies have these cute red ensembles on, going on to getting everything together for the showtime. Joseline has her little Eye of the Tiger, Thrill of the Fight outfit on with the little hat and the boots. The boots were super cute. Joseline looked really amazing. So of course it's time for them to pull on the show. Now, looking at the practice, I was a little shaky on how the performance was going to go, but it looked like Damilo went really well as far as the opening act. And then from there, they went on from one of the other songs, I Want to Be With You. Now, I remember I Want to Be With You in particular. Danny, come here. Come here, Danny. Because Danny was messing the hell up. And even Neek said it in her confessional that, like, when they were supposed to be facing to the front, Danny was still facing to the back because she was hopping to the side, too late. And then when they were turning to the side and trying to do some choreography up front, Danny got in position too late, and they facing to the side, Danny still facing to the front. Next thing you know it, they do this little head thing where they swing their head forward or whatever, and their hair, kind of sort of just accentuates downward. Why she said in her confessional that 3/4 of her wig came the hell up off her head. Now I want to pause right there. Why are y'all in Cancun? I know for a fact it had to at least be a minimum of 76 degrees, okay? With humidity. Why on heaven's name are y'all not sewing these wigs down? It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Now, I'm wondering whether or not she gonna get chewed out after. Ricardo, of course, is watching and paying attention. A part of me feels like how she did in this performance can definitely take her out of the running for $50,000. Although I didn't really see her winning in the first place. I honestly didn't see it, but it's crazy because just on the bus ride before, y'all talking about respect the OGs, know your place. And respectfully, she don't need to respect nobody to still be the most popping person on that stage. So let's really clock it. So respectfully, I like Danny and all that, but that was your worst performance ever, mamita. It really was. So big shout out to Queen Envy, because she definitely was doing her thing. So, she has her solo act during Ghetto Fantasy where she puts the little candle where candles need not be. And basically for that act, it was too windy for her to do her little magic trick. So she ended up lighting the candle from under the little high stage that they were on or whatever, doing her little trick from there and just getting on stage and shaking them goodies, shaking it to make her baby daddy mad, doing everything that she could. And respectfully, honestly, I was here for it. Out of every performance that they did, she probably went the hardest for this one. So I definitely want to give her all her credit where credit is due. So then from there, the next song that they ended up doing was her unreleased single. I guess it's called The Way You Are. I like the way you are. I really like that song, and I cannot wait for it to drop, because it was in this performance that I realized that it comes with a dance routine. Joseline, Black people love dance routines. So she had this little to the front, to the back, to the right, to the left, now drop. Of course, she said it in Spanish. So, arriba, abajo, a la derecha, a la izquierda. And honestly, it was super duper cute. I cannot wait to see how, we received that song, because I love it and it ain't even released yet. I think one thing that I can definitely say is Joseline's Cabaret has definitely introduced us to the new and improved Joseline Hernandez, because we grew to love her on Love and Hip Hop for being, like the bad guy in certain circumstances, the side piece and everything of that nature. But getting to see her actually in her element and her boss status, because I feel like when Stevie J, her baby father, was, producing all of her music and making all of her beats and he was stifling her career, just to keep it blunt. He was definitely stifling her career, because I honestly didn't care for any of the songs that he did for her. I did not care for not one of them. So to see Ballistic Beats, her husband, taking her career to the next level, teaming up with Lemmy and Zeus to do what they have to do to make sure that she gets the proper platform that she needs to be able to curate all of the content, as far as the cabaret, as far as the tour, as far as the music. Honestly, all of those people that used to make fun of her, back in the day, as far as Love and Hip Hop, she's actually giving the music that they still trying to create on that show. So big up to Joseline. The one thing that I definitely can say is as far as artists that started on Love and Hip Hop that became something, she honestly is the number 2 in that, because the one artist that actually became something was Cardi B. And respectfully, Joseline is second place when it comes to that. So let me know in the comments how you feel about that statement alone, because to me, it's one of those things where we got to give her props. We got to give her credit, because she really went on Love and Hip Hop to do something. And although it was not achieved on Love and Hip Hop, it is still being achieved. So big shout out to Lemmy and the Zeus Network for actually, taking her idea, believing in her, allowing her to be able to, showcase all of her talents, help other girls showcase their talents and do their thing. Honestly, like for real, because there's a lot of, let's be honest, if she dropped an album right now, I don't know about y'all, but I would be able to sing all of it. She took her tour to Florida or to Georgia. Respectfully, I could go, because I know I'd be hollering a lot of her songs at the top of my lungs, because I actually know the lyrics. Watching the show actually did do what it was supposed to do as far as making sure she put her music on the map. So if that was the aim, respectfully, girl, you made it. And I am so proud of me, some Joseline. That is the Puerto Rican princess, baby. Okay, y'all better respect her. So then from there, the last song of the evening, Do It Like It's My B-Day. You already know what time it is. Joseline put on a show. She started twerking. They said the cartel was in the building, so I know they was enjoying that part. Puerto Rican princess, live in effect. I don't know how Mexicans feel about Puerto Ricans. I don't know the Hispanic beefs or whatever the case may be, but they started doing the poppers with the streamers in the air and everything like that, the little confetti falling. It honestly was dope. It was a vibe. She did her thing. I would have loved to see what the cartel in the crowd, but more than likely they were like, oh, don't show our face on camera or whatever the case may be. But you already know how Zeus is anyway. If they're not signing the forms to show their face, the faces will not be shown anyway. I was actually surprised that they weren't blurring faces in this episode, but it might be a country barrier thing. It might be a little different in Mexico than it is in the United States. But nonetheless, it was the end of their mini tour. This was the last performance of the mini tour before Joseline starts to break down who gets the $50,000. So of course now I'm guessing that this is going to be one of their last nights in Cancun or whatever the case may be. So then we go over to the scripted part, allegedly, of the episode. So we get Queen Envy and Neek. They're just lounging on the beach, talking about how, oh my God, we're in Cancun, we're in Mexico. So then from there, Rose ends up joining them. I ain't gonna hold you. This little Cabaret Wasted song, it would be cuter if Betty Betty Shot a Clock did not already exist. So I'm gonna ask y'all straight up, do you think that they made this chant as a direct competition, like, Betty Betty Shot a Clock is McDonald's, Cabaret Wasted is what can I say, Burger King? Is it a direct shot? Is it direct, trying to be just like them, or did they sincerely do this? My money is on they did a direct shot. My money is on they're trying to do something to kind of sort of hype up the cabaret, because aside from, the choreography and the, I'm not going to hold you, they have a better storyline. They actually have a storyline. It's actually a believable storyline. A lot of it can't be crafted or created because it's already together, because they're already going on the tour. They're already trying to go for the $50,000. They already don't like each other. All of that kind of sort of was already on the table. The only things that I could tell were set up were like the chain situation and even this little scene on the beach. So this Cabaret Wasted song, let me know if you feel like it's actually going to take off, or if it's even just a phase and you think that it's going to be as big as Batty Shot a Clock. Like, let me know how you feeling about their little chant, Cabaret Wasted. So then Queen Envy and Neek end up asking Rose straight up, like, how do you feel about the fight between you and, your ex-friend, referring to Hennessy, and she showed her the bike marks or whatever that was on her fingers, and that she felt like it was really wrong of her to air out her personal business, which I definitely agree. But, some people won't see it that way. Some people feel like once we're not friends no more, everything that you ever told me is out on the table. So let me know in the comments, what type of friend are you? When you are no longer friends with somebody, are you airing out their business? Do you think that Henny was okay to do that? Or do you think that she was flawed, that everything that happened during the friendship should have went to the grave like y'all intended for it to? By the time y'all were giving each other the business in the first place. So let me know about that. Now, nextly, they kind of sort of started discussing who they think was going to win the $50,000. And Rose ended up saying that she feels like it's one of the ladies that are amongst her at that time that was going to win the $50,000. So she feels like it's either herself, so Rose, Queen Envy, or Neek. Let me know in the comments whether or not she's correct. I personally think yes. I feel like Queen Envy definitely started from the bottom. Now she here. Everybody was thinking that she should not have made it on the bus or should not have gotten a text message to start, the mini tour in the first place. But she has definitely proven herself. She is definitely an underdog. She's the biggest one there as far as thickness or whatever the case may be. And she still be hitting that choreo to the T, to the T. So big shout out to her. And when it comes to Showgirl Neek, respectfully, she is the prettiest. She has what they consider a stank attitude, but I feel like she's simply just a diva. She knows she's the Beyonce of the team, and it just is what it is. So you really can't, you can't compare where you can't compete, because at the end of the day, she is the one person that is going to hit all of the choreo. I don't see her messing up on stage the way I'll see Danny, the way I'll see Oceans, the way I'll see, some of the other ladies, Raven, doing that weird walk, to the other side of the stage on that one episode where they ended up on the other side. So it's one of those things where they definitely are looking at Neek crazy because of her attitude, but she's continuing to excel despite her attitude. And then when it comes to Rose definitely has a little bit of a Cinderella story, because I wasn't feeling her at the beginning because it seemed like she was flying out Hennessy or whatever the case may be. But the more that the story continues to get told, with the little pieces of information that we have, it gives Rose more of a leg to stand on than Hennessy does, because it's one of those things where it's just she didn't really do nothing that merits what Hennessy is really doing. But then at the same token, she's young, so she's easily impressionable. So even if Henny was displaying a level of loyalty that they didn't expect, I said it on another episode that, they probably came in with this pack but really didn't know each other like that. It doesn't give friends. It gives, they were co-workers. Maybe they worked at the same club or something like that before, the Cabaret, whatever the case may be. So they ended up going together, to the situation. I've had, coworkers that I was cool with, and then, push came to shove, and now we not cool no more. It happens. Y'all know everybody has coworker friends, in which when y'all go to the next stage in life, y'all not friends no more, So I feel like it's one of those things where I can't really fault her at the same time. And then at the end of the day, it is a TV show. We're not seeing each and every angle of everything to really truly pick a side in that circumstance. But based on what we have seen, I was Team Hennessy and now I'm Team Rose. So I can definitely, give a kudos to her and definitely agree with her when she said that she felt like it was one of those three girls. So let me know in the comments who you think has a better chance to win the $50,000, whether or not you think it was one of those ladies between Rose, Queen Envy, and Showgirl Neek, or whether or not you think it's any of the other ladies. Now, I am extremely sad that Raven is no longer on my radar when it comes to it, but I feel like knowing how Joseline is taking to effect of her police in the situation. Raven literally went up to Joseline after that show and was just like, yo, yeah, her breath stank, her hygiene ain't on point. And I feel like Joseline hopefully took note the same way I did, that Raven told everyone before she told Neek and pulled her to the side. Like, you're asking, like I said before, you're asking for this respect that you're not really giving. And I can't help but notice ever since Big Titty Diamond, her best friend, ain't there, she been switching up a little bit. And I feel like on that enough, it's just like, I don't know. And then the three ladies that we spoke of before, I feel like have been going harder in the paint. Raven sometimes can be a wallflower, and I feel like it's one of those things where, like, I was emotionally tied to her because I know how much she has been through when it comes to Joseline, when it comes to getting slammed on the ground, when it comes to all of that foolishness that she went through in the last season that she was a part of. So I wanted to see her win, but to see how badly she does not want to see the ladies between Showgirl Neek and Rose win, it makes me not want her to win, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. So then we move on from this newbie scene to an OG scene, and we go to a conversation between Drea and Raven, where they're talking about how good the performance was despite everything that was going on. And then all of a sudden, a bomb is dropped, an atomic bomb. Raven says that there was a sighting of a circumstance, a poom poom eating circumstance, where Henny was gobbling the goodies of Showgirl Neek. Oh my God. Honestly, it threw me off when she first said it, but then by the time it sunk in and Drea was just like, oh yeah, I was there for that, I seen that, it kind of sort of hit me like they've been drinking, they've been cabaret wasted. So there's a combination of that. There's a combination of maybe sexual tension. Like, these ladies have been on tour with each other, sitting in these rooms, in these houses, going on tour with ladies that they barely know for a chance to win $50,000. So, and I'm not shocked at, the amount of bisexual women that are a part of these casts and things of that nature when it comes to Zeus Network and the baddies and the Joseline cabarets. So at first I was just like, what the heck? And then I was just like, okay, that makes sense. But then when I look back again, it's just like, this made me look at Neek crazy, because it's like, this is the same lady that you participated in a song in which you said that her poom poom was broken, basically. And it was just like, you let that same girl that's allegedly stank partake in your goodies. Like, I was shocked, confused. I went through every emotional that you could think of when Raven and Dre was sitting there talking about that. So let me know in the comments what you think it was, like, whether or not it was sexual tension, whether or not they were just cabaret wasted, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Let me know what y'all think. So then from there, Joseline ends up joining their conversation looking immaculate, phenomenal. Joseline be looking like she smell real good. Well, I heard she don't wear no deodorant, but I don't know. I don't know what she uses to cover up the odors under the pits, or whatever the case may be. But Raven keep pissing me off, because she immediately goes to tattletale mode and was just like, oh, well, just so you're aware, a situation happened again where Neek was disrespectful to the OGs and the other ladies. And it's like, girl, like, it's not that deep. It's never that deep. And then I wasn't feeling Drea either, talking about, by the time Joseline asked for the play-by-play, Drea over here talking about some, oh, well, she threw a bag of chips at Danny and then proceeded to try to attack Raven. First and foremost, y'all know she tried to slam that bag of chips and gravity was not gravitying and it flew back there on accident. She literally spelled it out to make it seem like Neek was just looking for a problem with Danny, and that wasn't the case. So then they ended up, kind of sort of just sharing that circumstance, and Joseline clocked it. She clocked the same thing that I had clocked. So remember, I don't know if it was my last cabaret video or the one before that, where I said that the OGs are Team Hennessy and the newbies are Team Rose. Like, I clocked it, and it's so crazy to me that Joseline clocked it as well. So she basically said the same thing that I had called out in one of my videos. Listen, me and Joseline, we on the same wavelength when it comes to that. And the ladies are just like, oh, well, oh, no. Joseline basically was just like, well, maybe it's Henny playing her cards correctly, trying to get close to the OG so that she can get, hang with the crew or whatever the case may be, getting close to them so that she can get close to Joseline so that she can have a better chance of winning the $50,000. Now, immediately when Joseline said that, it made me realize maybe it's one of those situations where not exactly what she spelled it out to be, but in a sense that Henny, the way Joseline speaks on her, it's giving she definitely has a good chance of winning the $50,000, because the way Joseline speaks about her, it kind of sort of gives like a level of admiration, kind of sort of gives a level of, dang, these ladies don't like me. She got to be the underdog. She got to be, something that, it got to be something about her that they don't like. And Joseline can relate to that, like she has said before. So the more that they're not liking her and the more that they're kind of sort of casting her and trying to isolate her as far as the newbies or whatever the case may be, it's making her like shine brighter in Joseline's eyes. So that part of the situation makes it extremely interesting. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. Let me know if you agree with me when I say that, because I legit feel like Joseline is looking at her like a strong contender as far as Hennessy's chance on winning the $50,000. So then from there, Joseline has like an emotional moment with the ladies, letting them know that she loves and appreciates them for everything that they do as far as the cabaret goes. And Melissa ends up walking in. So Melissa has some news to share with Joseline. So the ladies end up leaving the room so that her and Joseline can do a little parlay, do a little talking, or whatever the case may be. I don't mean parlay as in play, but parlay literally means talk in Creole. So that being said, that's the part where Melissa ends up saying that Joseline did such an amazing job on her performance that someone, a scouter, was in the audience that ended up putting in a good word to Playboy Magazine Mexico, and they would like Joseline to grace the cover of their next issue, which at this point in time, I'm assuming it had to have been like maybe October issue or something like that. So let me know in the comments whether or not you've seen the issue or whatever the case may be. I definitely want to kind of sort of do some research and see if I can find the Playboy Mexico issue that has Joseline Hernandez on the cover of it or whatever the case may be. But honestly, that's a good look. So big shout out to her team for holding that down. Big shout out to Caucasian voice Melissa for making sure that everything was where it needed to be as far as, locking that in and holding that down. And like I said before, Joseline Hernandez is on to bigger and better things. The only other person from the Love and Hip Hop cast that ended up doing anything like as close to that was, if y'all remember, Carly Red. Carly Red ended up doing like the Playboy podcast, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if she still does that or whatever the case may be, but honestly, it's a good look. The cover of Playboy, they was loving what they was seeing when she was on that stage. So before Melissa had came in, Joseline was telling the OGs to go get ready and let the other ladies know that they are going to go to a yacht party. And so by the time this scene was done, they pan out to the ladies going into a villa or wherever they're staying at, the Airbnb. My bad. Yeah, the Airbnb. And telling them to go get ready. So you see Raven and Voodoo Doll, Drea, going and running and, smacking pans. I ain't getting no sleep because of y'all. Going to tell the ladies to get ready, get ready, get ready. Lo and behold, the ladies are already getting ready. So they're the last ones to get the drop and the tea about the yacht party. And they running over there thinking that they're the first ones to get the drop and the tea. So it's giving producers told them to get ready or something. I don't know. It might have been some miscommunication on the back end. But nevertheless, they're getting ready for the yacht party. So now the ladies are on the Sprinter, and Raven wastes absolutely no time asking Neek and Henny why she wasn't invited to their lovey-dovey party before. And it was so funny because Raven ended up asking the ladies like, nah, for real. So does anybody want to get down with me? No, does anybody want to get down? Is basically what she asked. And I think it was Erica that asked, with who? And she was like, with me. And it kind of sort of panned out from there. I wanted to see what their answers were going to be. But by the time it panned out from a confessional to back to that scene, Danny looked like she was the only one that raised her hand. But I find it to be very comical because it's one of those things where, like, Raven, she looked like one of them was legit about to fight you a second ago. And you have the audacity to think that she's going to tell you anything about a party happening, drunk or not. Like, showgirl Neek was not about to invite you to their little shindig. Okay? Now, if it was like a couple episodes before you became enemy number one in my eyes, as far as you being the number one to snitch, you being the number one leader of the OGs and all of this other stuff, it might have been a whole different situation. Maybe the ladies would have invited you in, but this time around, they left you off bad and bougie. They definitely did. So then from there, the ladies are on the yacht. They're having a good time. And it turns into a whole music video segment on this episode. You just see booty clapping. You see Joseline in the front twerking. You see the ladies join in. Booty, 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 rocking everywhere. Booty, 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 rocking everywhere. Like, it was just like a whole scene, okay? They start popping bottles. They start doing the the Dun Cha Cha choreography, and they're just having a whole moment. And then as the sun is setting, they end up going and entertaining themselves on the second part of the yacht, which I thought was extremely interesting. I have never, ever, like, I'm from Miami. I've been on yacht after yacht after yacht, and I've never seen a yacht have a attachment in the back, and the attachment in the back have a stripper pole attached to it. When I tell you that was a hard flex, that child, give them their 10s. I'm clapping my nails right now. Give them their 10s. That was cool as hell. Child, when I tell you these ladies were lit, these ladies were turned, they were naked. When I tell you nips, booty cheeks, and poom poom was outside, it all was out there. And it's crazy. Like, it's crazy how they were, but they humping, doing all that craziness. And then Joseline ends up bringing the ladies together to tell them, don't forget, keep your eyes on the prize. I still got $50,000 to give. And while Joseline is doing the breakdown of, what more there is to come or whatever the case may be, they look over at Neek, and Neek looked like she about to topple over. Her eyes blinking one at a time. She barely able to formulate a sentence by the time Joseline asked her, is everything okay? She was just like... And in that moment, I realized there may be some truth to what the ladies were saying as far as, her drinking habits, because we kind of sort of saw it happening right before our eyes. But it doesn't change the fact that she's still able to perform flawlessly on stage. She doesn't let her drinking habits get in the way. Even if she drinks before practice, she's still able to do all of the choreography with no problem. And even if she is, child addicted to the liquor, it's not stopping her from being a big contender on Joseline's Cabaret. So it is what it is. Let me know in the comments how you felt about that scene, or how you felt about the episode up to here. Because like I said before, I don't think her drinking habits were even a factor enough to be able to be said until this scene right here. Like, if this scene would happen right here and then the OG stepped in and said, yeah, you be getting lit on a regular basis, so I'm not surprised that you as lit as you are today, then I would understand it, because now we actually have some backstory. We have, a current setting that makes sense in order to express it, rather than them being on some sort of target mode and just being like, Neek, you drink too much. You be drinking before practice. You be drinking after practice. You be drinking all the time. Like, that scene looked stupid. But now in this setting, it's just like, okay, well, maybe there's some truth to it. But it doesn't change the fact that this girl still be dancing her little self off when it's time to put on a show. So then as we gear up to the end of the episode, Joseline lets them know about her Playboy shoot and that she's inviting some of the ladies to go and tag along with her. And she ends up choosing Showgirl Neek and Voodoo Drea. Let me know in the comments whether or not you feel like those were the two that you could have seen or knew that she would have chose, or if you could have choose two girls for yourself, who you would have chose. I feel like Neek was a good choice. As far as Drea, I can see why she chose both Neek and Drea. If you pay attention to the Cancun performance, you'll see that Neek and Drea had a lot of scenes together. And even though Joseline found out that they had been fighting on the sprinter and going back and forth on the sprinter, and there was a lot of tension between the two of them, I feel like she probably appreciates the fact that they were able to set their differences aside and all of the BS aside and put on a great show that led to her being able to book this Playboy issue in the first place. So I can definitely understand, and I see why it happened the way that it did. Would I have chose those two? Neek, yes. I think the second person I would have probably chose was Queen Envy. But like I said, I can understand why she chose those two. So let me know in the comments which two you would have chose. Now, it was interesting right after that because they panned over to Rose, and Rose looked more bummed out than happy for her friend. And that was extremely interesting because, like I said before, she is extremely young-minded. It gives me the suspicion that, like, after the cabaret is done, they probably aren't going to be friends, as in Neek and Rose. But let me know in the comments whether or not you peeped her energy. Like, Rose's energy, even Oceans congratulated the ladies. And I don't know. Maybe it happened on a scene that they clipped off, and maybe, we didn't see Rose congratulate her. But what I seen with my two eyes, I did not see any sort of happy, joy for her friend. She did say in the confessional that she would have loved to have gone on it and that she's, really bummed out that she didn't, but she's happy for her friend or whatever the case may be. But I just didn't see the happiness. So it kind of sort of gave me flashbacks of, the beginning phases of the fall of Hennessy and Rose. But let me know if you peeped that, and let me know if you have anything to add to my opinion on it. So based on what we're seeing in the previews of the next episode, it's giving we're gearing towards the finale. If this next episode isn't the finale, maybe the next episode after that is going to be the finale of Joseline's Cabaret, Texas. But it definitely gave a lot of attention towards Showgirl Neek, with the ladies kind of sort of letting her know, like in this little mini intervention, that she drinks too much, and side conversations of her drinking too much. Child, I don't know where that's going to go, but we'll see. I don't think it makes a difference. They just need to leave her alone and let her drink in peace. Because like I said, it hasn't been affecting her dancing. Now, if it affected her on the stage, her performance in practices or anything that, directly affects the cabaret, that would be different. But I don't see that happening. So I don't see what the big deal is personally. Let me know in the comments how you feel about it. Now, from there, we pan over to Joseline speaking to, I want to say it was the president of Playboy Mexico, and Miss Janisha John, and they're having conversation about the big things that are to come for Joseline and her cover of Playboy Mexico. I love Janisha's accent. She's super cute, and they kind of sort of pan into some of the looks that Joseline has for the shoot or whatever, which I don't know if y'all saw earlier, I had put some of the pictures up there. And honestly, the looks were killing. So after that, it looks like Drea and Neek are actually going to finally have a heart-to-heart moment. And it's giving Neek is going to share a part of her that she doesn't often share. And it kind of sort of gives me the notion that Neek is about to share why she drinks the way that she does. And she's drinking off some pain, and she's been through some things in her life. And she's kind of sort of just trying to numb it with alcohol or whatever the case may be. And it looks like it's going to be a sweet moment. So we'll see how that's going to pan out. And then as that's happening, the ladies are back at the villa / Airbnb. So by the time the shoot is over, they head over there. And it looks like Joseline is going to do yet another elimination. So that kind of sort of gives the notion just a little bit that maybe this isn't the last episode to come, which is why I think that there's going to be at least 2 more episodes, because we haven't done many eliminations. So we still, have to let some people go while, the show continues, so that we can go back to, the Cabaret, which I believe she opened up some more dates for her to continue to tour with some of the girls, and some of the other girls are going to come back, whatever. Y'all know how that goes. But it's giving there's going to be an elimination nonetheless. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to disappear. It's giving bye-bye Ocean. In my head, I need to see Ocean leave. If Ocean ends up being a finalist for this $50,000, respectfully, I think I'm not going to watch Joseline's Cabaret no more. I'm tired of seeing her. She does not know how to dance. Her body is not. Honestly, it's crazy, because even though Danny and Drea are the smallest girls of the bunch, Ocean's does not have a body even as close to theirs. And as far as their performance, she eats them. No, they eat her. My bad. They eat her down. Okay, so I feel like she better not go any further than the next episode, respectfully. But if y'all could do any eliminations, let me know who you would eliminate. Now, all in all, let me know how you felt about this episode. This episode on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll probably give it a 9. I can't give it a full 10 because of the fact that I hated when Drea was trying to throw Neek under the bus about throwing the bag of chips, and she was just like doing the most, like, she threw the bag at her, and then she proceeded to try to charge at Raven. That is not how it happened. Relax. And then they didn't give us enough detail when it came to the cootie cat, the no longer being stingy with her cootie cat situation when it came to Neek and Henny. I needed they should have milked that situation a little more so I can understand the character setting, plot, turn of events, how that happened. I do understand that they were both drunk, and it just happened that way. But can we talk about that a little more, please? What else? Honestly, it was a good episode. I was perfectly fine with it. It had its little hiccups here and there, but altogether, it definitely was dope. If I give it anything on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 9. And my most valuable Cabaret lady this episode definitely was Showgirl Neek. Let me know who yours was. But I definitely can say that Joseline's Cabaret did their big one when it comes to this season. It gave all of the elements that it needed to give, although it's coming to a point in time where it's just like, the only complaint that I can say is I was expecting like maybe episode by episode elimination before they went to the tour, and then since this past episode was the last episode of the tour, then we can go ahead and proceed with the elimination. But the lack of elimination leading up to it and the mass text message definitely gave the kind of sort of anticipation that we were missing when it came to the continuation of the elimination. So it kind of fixed it with the text message situation. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. Other than that, I definitely feel like she did her big one when it comes to that aspect of it. When it comes to all of the inside jobs that was happening, I think my least favorite thing about this season was the little song that they had made, the anti-Henny crew or whatever the case may be, because I feel like it was extremely stupid. 2 of the 3 girls ended up getting eliminated after that because they really had no storyline outside of their hatred towards Hennessy. And it's crazy. Like, you literally wasted energy doing that when you could have been practicing and doing a whole different, I feel like it was just dumb. Let me know in the comments how you felt about that and what your highs and lows of Joseline's Cabaret Texas were all together. So, as far as the ladies that I feel like is going to make it and continue to move on to get to the finale as far as $50,000, I definitely feel like Showgirl Neek is up there. I definitely feel like Hennessy has a good chance. I feel like Queen Envy definitely should be at the top 5. I feel like Envy Erica needs to play her cards correctly or else she's going to fall into the shadows. But I definitely feel like Joseline really likes her, so I can kind of sort of see her going far. To win it, the whole thing, I don't think so. As far as Danny and Voodoo, it gives Voodoo would outshine Danny just because she's closer to Joseline and would literally like kiss the ground she walks on. But at the same token, I feel like one of the new girls is going to take it, and who better than Showgirl Neek? Oceans, like I said before, Oceans does not stand a chance, respectfully. Like, sorry, not sorry, no tea, no shade when it comes to it. I just don't feel like she deserves it. I just don't feel like she's a good enough dancer. I just feel like with all of these ladies that actually have the talent that it takes to go far in Joseline's Cabaret, I just don't see her as, like she's not their strongest person. She's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Respectfully, after she had got her eye swole the way that she did, she should have been on the first thing smoking home, because it's one of those things where like, girl, like, what the heck? And then even after she was fighting Envy Erica, even though Erica is the one that kind of sort of, egged it on by the time it started, like you got 2 black eyes at this point in time. So it's like, you need to sit down. You need to shut up. And she, I don't know. I've been over her. I've been over her since the very first episode that she said something. What was it? I think it was episode 2 that I was over her. You know how some shows you'll begin not liking somebody and then after a while you start liking them, kind of like the Rose effect. At first we, liked Henny more than Rose, and now I can't speak for nobody but myself. I'm starting to like Rose more than I like Henny, except for today's scene where she didn't seem too happy for Showgirl Neek. She was happy but not displaying the happiness, if that makes sense. That part I ain't too much like, but altogether, I definitely can say that I do like her. And I feel like the other girls are giving her problems for no reason. And I feel like Henny fights hella dirty to be biting at this lady fingers and pulling her hair straight out the root like child. But, what we've learned when it comes to Zeus is ain't no rules to fighting. So I can't do too much complaints when it comes to that. All in all, I definitely can give Joseline's Cabaret a round of applause because, like I said before, they're doing their big one. They're definitely showing up. They're definitely showing out, and they're giving us all of the factors that we need as far as the shock factors, as far as funny moments, as far as the competitiveness, the dance, everything all together. I love the fact that she got a bunch of dancers from all sorts of walks of life to be a part of this episode. Not one looks like the other. Different shapes and sizes, come from different cities, different countries, different states. Well, not different countries, but different states. I think only that Dominican Barbie came from a different country, but y'all know what I mean. But please let me know how you felt about this episode, how you felt about this season. Scale of 1 to 10, who your favorite Cabaret member has been. Please like, comment, subscribe, post notifications, all of that good stuff. And let me know how you felt about this hair takedown, okay? We done took the wig out. The natural hair is outside. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in to PYT TV respectfully.